Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Liberty jumping to music with our horses who are our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles course. Sadie doing obstacles without rein control. Training miniature zebu bull Rusty to pull an implement.
Jill Picone is now riding Firecrest Easter Eve for the first time with a German Martingale. And I've been trying to try out a German Martingale for quite a while now, so we're not sure if this is going to be helpful in this particular training instance. And we'll just let you know. And then we'll let you see a German Martingale close up, because we'll have Jill come over here with Eve and show you how it works. First time I saw it was on RFD TV when Tommy Garland, an Arab trainer, just mentioned that one of his students had one on. Then I went to the internet and I tried to see pictures of German Martingales, and I saw all different quality of martingales, but I just, quality of leather or rope or nylon, but I just didn't understand how it worked. And now I have a better understanding of how it worked, and I don't really think it's the training tool that I'm going to be using with Eve, and I'll explain to you why shortly. In the meantime, just watch her. We're trying to get her to collect and give us vertical flexion. Eve is one horse that doesn't like pressure, especially on her nose, and she'll pull up her head or pull up her neck if she has pressure on her nose. She'd much rather just do what we want if she could just understand what we want. So she has a bit in her mouth. I believe it's a broken snaffle. The German Martingale goes down to the breast collar. And what's simple about the German Martingale is it's something like the Alreg-Usine double reins, which I've had many programs about, but it doesn't give you the ability to control the amount of pressure you use when you're in the saddle. In order to change the German Martingale, you need to either reach down and change from the saddle, stop the horse, reach down and change, but then it's static. It's not dynamic. And I'll explain that better with a close-up on this particular training aid. Jill, can you tell us how you're feeling about her responsiveness to this Martingale?
She's fighting it. I'm not sure that she's completely happy with it. she gives me a few good steps and then she brings her head back up. I'm just not sure how effective it is. On her, at least. But
how does Demi go in it?
I didn't use it on Demi. I used it on Lotus. And he was okay.
Why did you buy it?
Really, because Lotus was showing some of the behaviors that she is by bringing his head up, like he'd go with his head vertical for a little while and then he'd pop it back up, just to help encourage him and show him where we wanted his head.
And somebody said that a German Martingale would be helpful there?
Yes. I didn't use it that much. I'm not sure that I like it.
Can you come up here? Now let me show a close-up of it, and we'll point to how it works. So there's some straps. As I mentioned this, could you point down to them? There's some straps that come from the breast collar. They hook onto the breast collar. They go through the O-ring of the O-ring snaffle and back up to 3 different positions on the reins. Just a receiving loop for the snap on the other end of this strap. So you need to decide, depending upon the horse you are working with, where you want the snap to snap. In other words, how much tension you want to put on the O-ring of the O-ring snaffle while you're riding with just one rein in your hand. So you see, in some respects, this is almost like a tie down. It's just that it's a tie down that you can make looser or less or more tight, depending upon where you put your snaps on the rings that are on the reins.
You can see how agitated she is, and I'm not doing that much.
Yeah, she's not happy with it. Now, that's not to say that with repetition she might become more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I can see that she's immediately not responsive to it, not giving us stress-free response, but is showing some good vertical flexion from time to time, but then up it comes. You see, when you're riding with the Alreg using double reins, you can immediately release pressure when you get the right answer. And that's so very important in natural horsemanship. That's how they know they're giving you the right answer. You remove the pressure that they're uncomfortable with. That's nice. Very nice. I don't think we'll give up on this right away. We'll give it some repetition. And the reason I would rather use this in some circumstances, if I decide to use it at all, is that the Ragusine double reins are 2 reins. They're double reins. So sometimes you're so busy doing things, whatever it is you're trying to do with your horse, it's really hard to figure out which rein you have in your hand and which you don't, and how to pick up the one that you want at any particular moment, because timing is so important.
It's getting better.
I see that. And she very much wants to please. She has that kind of disposition. And we have the German Martingale, I believe, on the 2nd loop of the rein. If we wanted to make it tighter, which I wouldn't, not at all today anyway, we could put it on the 3rd loop, or if we just wanted it as a backup because we have achieved our collection and vertical flexion, I'd put it on the 1st loop. Do you feel like you're keeping that shoulder up?
She actually is easier, or seems to respond better when I sit the trot than when I post, which kind of surprises me.
Well, we very seldom post here, so again, it's something new to her. Yeah, we're pretty Western here.
I think this direction's harder for her. She wants to fall in more.
Yes.
This direction.
Yes, always in one direction better than the other. I have trouble keeping it straight which horse is better in the clockwise and which is better in counterclockwise, but more than likely Eve's bad direction is counterclockwise. It's just like us being right and left-handed. I'm pleased with a little bit of progress we've made today. I am anxious to see what would happen if we asked her to pick up a lope or a canter, but I think it would be too much to ask of her today. I'm just happy you were able to get a nice collected trot or jog. And I'm happy that we've been able to study how the German Martingale works for the first time. Now, at the expo, a couple weeks ago, the Western States Horse Expo, there was a Western natural horsemanship trainer who does cow work using a German Martingale. And he was saying some very nice things about it as a training aid for cow work. And that's the first time I've ever seen a Western trainer speak of a German Martingale, and he sells one as well at his tack shop. Al Dunning is his name. Doesn't look like this one, but it works similarly. And has some parts that are different materials than leather or rubber, as yours do. And that's what I experienced when I went to the internet. A lot of different martingales called German Martingales. A lot of big range in prices, and I just wasn't sure, having not ever tried one, what it was that I was going to look for if I ever bought one. Let me suggest to you one of the reasons that I'm interested. Eve is actually my rope horse. And when you're trying to rope, not only do you have reins in your hand, but you have a rope in your hand, and you have a moving object that you're trying to throw the loop around. So using the double reins to help Eve remember to keep her head down is almost impossible. Possibly with this German Martingale, if I can get her used to it, I could have the single rein in my hand, and until I have the message across to her that she's to keep her head down when I'm roping my steer or my mechanical cow, until I have that message, I could be reminding her with the German Martingale by placing it on the various loops, depending upon what kind of stress she's showing. So actually, if I could, Jill, I'm going to try this out on her one of these days soon when we're practicing roping on my mechanical steer, because that way we can stop it if she's getting really stressed, and maybe adjust it. As I said, it appears that you can, not at the instant, but within the session, you can adjust it to the various loops. Thank you very much for showing us and letting us use your German Martingale today, and I look forward to working with you, and I'd love to see Lotus working with it just for comparison one of these days soon. Goodbye for now, Urban Cowgirl Show. Sonia Sokolow.
Trying a bitless bridal.
Is aboard Firecrest Easter Eve today to show me how Eve goes in a bitless bridle or a hackamore type device that Jill had. It looks very, very nice on Eve. It is a leather hackamore, no metal involved, nothing in the mouth. And we're trying to help Eve learn collection. No matter what kind of bridle or halter we have on her head, the less the pressure, the better for her, and she just wants to understand what we're asking for, whether it be verbally, with leg pressure, with our body language, with our focus.
I like what she's starting to do here.
We worked with her a little bit yesterday with Alexis, and Alexis felt also quite a bit of progress in the session. It's repetition with Eve. She just needs to know what we are asking, and let's ask it gently. She just wants us to ask her gently. Do you feel like she's reaching under with her back legs?
When she brings her head down, yeah. I can feel her. I mean, it feels pretty good when she starts to bring her head down.
Throwing up her head at this instant. Is there anything you think you're doing with your body that's making her get perturbed and throw that head up a little bit like she is?
I notice when I use my inside leg, her head comes down. So she responds well to that. I don't know why.
Both Demi and Semi ride with vertical flexion almost all the time, and Eve not, only some of the time. So I'm confident, optimistic that it will come with repetition, but I'm also trying to figure out why she's showing that stress.
Well, this is, I mean, the fact that she likes to stretch, I mean, this is a good thing. This direction is harder. Is this, what direction?
Yeah, it's like counterclockwise, confirmed by Alexis. Everything she tries with Eve on counterclockwise is harder.
So I have to really use my inside leg.
And Alexis mentioned the same thing, using the inside leg, a little bit of tickle with her spur on the inside. Helps her to remember not to throw her head up or to go too much into vertical flexion. And Alexis doesn't like it, as neither do I. And Eve looks like she's trying to get away from the pressure by bringing her head too far down, or too far in, her nose too far in. was a time when we didn't work Eve more than about 20 minutes because she would get so stressed. Now, maybe with maturity, maybe with experience, we can work her a little longer. We still get the job done. She still continues to learn. But we don't mind short lessons at all.
It's harder to steer with without the bit, but like if you're trying to take quick turns, you have kind of less steering ability.
Now, I see there are rings on the side of that Brackamore that one could put your pulley system lunging lines through.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're kind of small holes, so I don't know if that would, if they'd fit.
Your rope is a small diameter. I kind of think it would if we didn't expect any hardware to go through it. That's the problem.
That's the hardware. There is the hook. Yeah.
You haven't tried a lope. Are you interested in trying one with that?
Yeah, I'll try that. I'm not going to go for much collection. I'm going to let her carry her head where she wants.
And she will lope at a fast pace. She doesn't know yet a slow pace canter. She does know transitions, though, as long as we're consistent in cueing for it.
I don't think I ask her the same way Alexis has been asking her.
Yeah, that's
so she's just confused. So.
Yes, that's what I mean about being consistent. And so we have to get everybody that rides to understand what our cues are. There you go. Yeah, and her head is out. Her pace is too fast. She's arced the wrong way.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of new equipment on her, so it's hard with the new saddle. Kind of puts your leg in a different spot than the Western saddle.
Yes.
So that might cause her some anxiety because my leg is hitting in a spot that she's not used to. And then with no bit.
I'm just glad you were able to transition into a lope. Which signal, by the way, did you use? What worked?
What I did, for the first couple times I tried it, I just used my inside leg, and the third time when she picked it up, I moved my outside leg back.
Yes.
And asked with my inside leg.
Okay. You don't ask with your reins at all?
No.
I see.
Well, except that I don't want her to, because she knows how to transition into canter, I don't want her to run into it. And so I did kind of hold her a little bit with my reins. Good girl, Eve.
Oh, she's great at lateral flexion. Yeah. She just knows that's the right answer almost all the time. Yeah. That's her I'm trying to please you mommy attitude.
Good girl, Eve. Yeah.
See, when I ask for a lope, I usually go a little bit outside leg at the cinch or a little bit behind, and then I give a little bit with my inside hand.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. No, I did that too. I kind of held her so she wouldn't run into it, and then as she was taking off into the canter, gave a little bit. But she does want to race, and I don't know, partly that might be from my leg. I haven't really ridden her much, so I'm not familiar with what's normal for her.
No, you can't blame it at all on anything you're doing. She just doesn't know yet how to do it. She doesn't know yet what the right answers are. There was a time where she would shoulder us into the fence when we asked for a canter because she was so confused and got so discombobulated.
Hey, canter. Good girl, Eve.
Good girl. But not collected at all. Not yet.
Good girl.
Nice, Eve. She's actually looking to me from this angle like she's starting to relax a little bit even at the faster pace, but
I don't think this is just my thought off the top of my head. I don't think the bitless bridle is the best to work her in the lope because she wants to fall in. It's harder to kind of steer her out. We need a little more flexion in her mouth.
Yeah. Probably a little more direct rein to get that arc. Her neck gets real stiff.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets. Yes, good girl.
Is that what you want? Is that why we're standing still?
I imagine it's harder counterclockwise to canter her. But I don't. Is that?
I imagine so too. It's been a while since I've cantered her, but that's what is difficult in everything we ask of her is the counterclockwise.
More difficult.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, we'll try just to see. She's nervous about it. I would say no, we should save that.
Okay.
Because she wants to throw her body so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. That's how she deals with her stress. She gets stiff and throws those ribs and those shoulders out.
And I guess ideally, because we have such a hard time at the trot going counterclockwise, that's what should work.
Everything is always harder at the faster pace. Always try to accomplish it to perfection at the slower pace before you move on to the faster pace.
It would be really interesting to try the pulley system on her because what we would probably find, and we didn't see it so much in Demi, but when I first started using it on her, one direction was harder for her. We did see that, but she would counter bend that difficult direction, and so I would actually adjust one of the pulleys to the side to create more inside bend. And I think on Eve we'd see.
And from her experience with roping and with ropes and with obstacles, I'm confident that we won't have a stress case on our hands if we try it. We'll just do it very carefully at first. Have a couple people on hand to join up with her. She loves join up. Bonnie Roberts join up, and we will use the snaffle, the old ring snaffle. Okay. Well, goodness, we've done a lot today, and we're very proud of Eve, and we thank you very much, Jill.
Shadrack Stables at Midmore Farms. Sadie and Eve. Semi. Rusty and Susie. www.thesocolos.com